Hey guys, Miss GoElectric here, and I'm really looking forward to bringing you this next e-bike review. You can see right in front of me, I have the Aventon Aventure step-through. Now, Aventon has been in the business for a really long time, even before e-bikes were a big craze. So we're gonna find out if that has given them a leg up against the competition. So let's unbox it, assemble it, and then take it out on the trails. I'm here in Bald Mountain State Recreation Area. This is another park that I really love and has a lot of different features. As you can see, there's a beach behind me. You might hear a little bit of the shooting range. That's really popular on the weekends. They also have tons of hiking trails and biking trails, which is why I want to do this review here. Let's get to unboxing this bike.
The Aventon Aventure step-through is priced at $1,999 and is part of the Fat Tire line in the Aventon roster. The company has a wide variety of options for commuting, off-roading, folding, and cruising. I like that they have step-through options for many of their models, providing more accessibility for those who might not be able to step over as easily.
We've got some boxes right here, so let's open these first. All right, it looks like I have a user manual in here, my pedals. I have a wrench tool that's branded to be able to tighten everything up. We have a multi-tool which has Allen wrenches and screwdrivers, bike grease, my reflectors, and some spare parts. So it seems to me that Aventon has given me everything that I need in order to build this bike. Let's set this aside for now. Let's open this next box. All right, this is my charger. This is a 3-amp charger, so this is gonna charge up the Aventon Aventure in about 4 to 5 hours fully. All right, let's start cutting up some of these zip ties. It looks like this wheel is attached with a zip tie all the way down at the bottom of the bike, so I'm gonna have to probably pull the whole bike out first before I can detach that, so I can reach the zip tie. It looks like they have a QR code on here that I can scan to check out the assembly. So before we pull the bike out, I'm gonna scan that and check it out. So in this assembly video, they suggest that you get a helper to help you pull this bike out of the box because there are some zip ties that are attaching the wheel to it. So it might be a little bit harder to get out in one swoop just with one person. Producer Tim's gonna come help me lift it out.
This bike has an aluminum frame and weighs 73 pounds. It's on the heavier side compared to other electric bikes I've reviewed, but it also has the best payload capacity I've seen at 400 pounds.
Sometimes it can be really hard to cut these zip ties because they're so tight to the frame. You don't want to puncture anything and you don't want to scratch the paint. This razor probably isn't the best tool. I would recommend using snips or utility scissors. Just seeing the bike frame for the first time, this is a really beautiful bike. The quality of I can't even see the welds. That's amazing.
As you can see here, I opted for the very fitting electric red paint color, but the Aventon Aventure has 2 other paint selections including SoCal Sand and Camouflage Green. It's not often you see a brand offer more than 1, let alone 2 colors for each model.
First, I'm gonna mount these handlebars before I get to mounting the wheel. There's this little plastic piece on top that's covering this hex bolt, so you just pop that off, hang on to that, and then you can use the tool that they gave you in order to loosen that up to be able to mount the handlebars. All right, now that I have the stem in place with the handlebars on, it's time to get them in position and tighten up on the back here. I really like that most of the accessories on here, like the headlamp, the computer, the shifting, the brakes, that's already mounted on the handlebars in comparison to some of the bikes that I've already built that are less expensive. So this is a lot less work for me. All I really have to do is tighten everything up and we're good to go. All right, so I tightened up the computer bolts and the headlamp. What's nice about the headlamp is that you can also articulate it from over here so that you can tilt it down or up.
The headlamp and tail lamp are both integrated, which means they are powered directly by the e-bike battery. This means I won't have to remember to recharge them separately.
These keys were attached to the wiring up here in the brake lines. And when you first look at the Aventure, you don't even realize that the battery is removable because they've painted the exterior of the battery the same color as the bike, which I think is a really nice touch. Very discreet, but my keys here, well, let's just pop out the battery to see how that works. This is a 720 watt-hour battery, so that's equivalent to about 3/4 of a kilowatt hour. Aventon says this will get you on average 45 miles of range.
The Aventure has 5 pedal assist modes and a thumb throttle, so depending on if you use either or, your range will fluctuate. Aventon has provided range testing on each one of the e-bikes they sell, which is helpful knowing what to expect in different scenarios when riding this bike, since it can handle many different situations. If you're using only the throttle and consistently traveling at 20 miles per hour, your range estimate is about 27 miles. Each pedal assist mode has their own estimate as well, ranging anywhere from 53 miles in the lowest setting all the way to 19 miles in the highest. Keep in mind, rider weight and terrain will also affect range. While we're talking about the battery, it's also important to note that in the user manual, it specifically states that for the first 3 charges for your battery, you'll need to charge for 11.5 hours. No more, no less. This will safely balance your battery so you can get the most accurate range readings.
All right, it's time to take all this padding off the front fork. I'm gonna remove the plastic piece in between the brake caliper that is there for protection when it's in transit, and then I'm gonna mount the wheel.
The hydraulic brakes and front fork are made by Zoom. Hydraulic brakes are more powerful, which is going to be good for a heavier bike like this. The front fork has 80 millimeters of travel, plus a lockout mode. This bike is also paired with a Shimano Acera 8-speed gear set. These fat tires are made by Kenda and measure 26 inches in diameter and 4 inches wide. This tread looks like it will handle all sorts of conditions like sand, mud, and gravel well.
This yellow piece is that protector. You just pull that out, and now it's ready to be mounted. Now before I lift this up and mount the wheel to this fork, I just have to make sure that I'm unscrewing these nuts and putting the washers all the way towards the end. Then I can mount it and then tighten it. I just want to make sure that I'm putting the piece in between the washer and the nut, and also making sure at the same time that the brake is in between the caliper. Now I can use this tool that Aventon gave me, and I can tighten it up. Yep. Oh, that seems, is that the right size? Well, it looks like this 15 millimeter wrench doesn't work on this 15 millimeter nut. It's just slightly off, so I'm gonna use my own tool. Next up, I want to put on the fender. These are some really lightweight fenders, but they have really great coverage, it looks like. There's a bolt behind the fork here that you just want to loosen up in order to mount the fender. These fenders here are made of metal, which I prefer over some of the other bikes that I've had, which were plastic. I've fallen over and they've snapped, so I feel like this aluminum is going to be more durable. There's also some more mounting points here, so unlike the plastic ones that I had where it just mounts right on the top of the fender, this one has these side supports to give better stability and more durability. These fenders also have really great coverage, and this is a fat tire bike, so this is the type of bike you're going to take out in the rain, out in the sand, all in dirty situations, so it should keep me protected and clean. Well, I just took the final piece of plastic off of the seat and I like what I'm seeing here. I appreciate a wide saddle. This looks really comfortable and the branding is a nice little touch. All right, last step is screwing on the pedals here. Let's see if this tool is gonna work on this nut. But yeah, still a little tight, so I'm gonna use my other wrench. Well, this is really unfortunate. You can see here my fender bracket, this support, is actually really bent from in transit. You can see this side is actually a little bit bent too, but this has really suffered quite a bit. I'm gonna have to try to bend this back. When I'm out biking, I really enjoy quietness and being out in nature to be able to hear all the birds chirp and all that. And this hub motor is going to be able to do that for me, but also the extra attention to detail that Aventon has included here is this neoprene sleeve. So if my chain is loose and it starts to bounce around a little bit, it isn't going to cling up against this part of the bike. It also is a nice protectant from the paint.
The Bafang Hub Motor is 750 watts continuous. What's interesting is that this bike is considered a Class 2 e-bike, but you have the ability to change it to Class 3 via the app. After you pair the app with your bike, which I'll show you how to do shortly, all you have to do is head to the settings page and bump up your top speed here.
This here is a medium to large frame. Now you can opt for a small to medium frame, which supports someone from 4'11" all the way up to 5'7", or this medium large, which supports anywhere from 5'8" up to 6'2". Aventon has a 1-year warranty and a 14-day return policy, which is pretty standard across most e-bike brands. But one thing that's unique that they offer is a lot of dealer partners. So if you go on their website, you can see a map of all their locations and just make a quick drive to the closest one and actually get some seat time and ride this bike ahead of time before you put your money down. All right, I've downloaded the Aventon app and I set up my account. Now it's time to pair with this computer here. Click on pair. I choose the display I have. That's the one I have. Yep. Please place the QR code in the scan box.
It says to hold down the I button on the computer controller until you see the main menu. Then use the plus and minus signs to move through the menu and select Connect to App.
All right, so I'm scanning the QR code that's on the computer from my phone. There it goes. Nickname. All right, looks like I'm connected. Now I'm going to be able to use this to track all my riding. It's going to give me a lot of data. So as you can see, it just started to populate the battery charge level, and it says now that it's connected. This first menu option shows the general information about my bike, my odometer, the max speed, average speed, as you can see. Let's click record. This is where you can track your ride, and it has the calendar feature here, so it'll remember the days. Shows how many calories you're burning off and how long you have gone for a ride. Me. Here are some achievements that I can earn. There's dealer support here and any kind of support talking to customer service from Aventon, and then some system settings. It looks like this is kind of a community type thread, so a forum where other people are posting their rides or communicating with other Aventon riders. That's really cool. I like the fact that they're encouraging community.
The first ride review video is linked in the description, and if you're thinking about purchasing the Aventon Aventure or accessories, please use the affiliate links there too. Aventon will support the Miss GoElectric channel if this video is helpful for their customers. Thank you all for watching this video, and please consider subscribing, liking, and sharing so I can bring you more in the near future. Until next time, drive, fly, ride. Go Electric.